we're going to talk about SpaceX, okay? I didn't get to it yesterday, so I'm going to get to it today. So apparently, SpaceX is going public, everybody. Elon Musk's SpaceX is going to have an IPO for $1.75 trillion. My God, that is an ungodly amount of money. Is there any, what's the highest valued company price? Highest valued company price. Okay, so for reference, I'm going to take, this is Google AI, so take it with a grain of salt. NVIDIA is at like 5 trillion, Apple is at 4 trillion, Google is at 4 trillion. So 1.75 trillion means that this company is essentially opening at half of like Apple. Okay, so my question is, and maybe they will answer it for me, how the hell does SpaceX ever become profitable? Right? Can someone please answer me this question? I am so confused. I am so confounded. SpaceX is a private space company. Does SpaceX do what's it called? Starlink? Does SpaceX own Starlink? Okay. Okay, Starlink is owned by SpaceX. That could be profitable. The reason that I'm so confused about this is because the entire notion of like flying billionaires into space for fun is not a profitable venture, right? The entire idea of like private space travel in general is not a profitable venture. I'm going to be completely honest with you people. I do not think that that private space travel, private space colonization is going to be like remotely profitable for capitalists for centuries, if not millennia. like I think it will be hundreds of years before it is even remotely considered quote unquote profitable to do any sort of like space colonization, moon colonization, Mars colonization, or even building out just space stations out in space. There's a reason that this started as a public enterprise. It's because there's no possible way that it can ever be profitable, at least in the near term. I'm serious. I don't think that it's possible. So that's why I'm so confused about this. So I'm really, really hoping that this video from CNBC television is going to tell me how on earth this company is ever going to become profitable, except for Starlink. I don't know what else is a part of SpaceX. Maybe there's other parts of it that can subsidize the insane amount of money that you have to like throw into a black hole just to get people out into space temporarily.
The amended filing for SpaceX. Our Leslie Picker broke that on the air and joins us here at Post 9 with some additional details, maybe. Hey, LP.
Hey, Carl. Yeah, so that amended filing is expected to come after the market today. So in speaking with people familiar with the matter, it sounds like the company and its advisors have agreed on a fixed price ahead of the roadshow. This is different than the typical range that you would see and you go and meet with investors and market your deal at a range. In this case, this is pretty unique here. They're doing a fixed price. They've already said it of $135 a share. They're going to offer 555.6 million shares for a total IPO size of $75 billion.
So they're artificially setting the price. I think people are going to buy it, man, but I'm curious what's going to happen instantaneously after they buy it, because like I said, it's not going to be a profitable venture. I'm curious if it's going to get like rug pulled or something. Like they're going to set the price like super high, and then instantaneously it'll just like drop off, right? Because people will sell it. And then it will go back down to like maybe a more reasonable price. But it's hard to tell though, because it is like a tech company, and tech companies aren't valued very much by like their actual fundamentals. They're valued off of like branding and like vibes. So it's possible that maybe it can maintain that price even after it goes public. I don't really know though.
billion. I was curious kind of whether there was any significance to the $135 price or 555.6 million shares. It sounds like it was just the math that got you to a $75 billion offering, as simple as that. On a diluted valuation basis, a fully diluted valuation basis, this will be a $1.75 trillion company, and that assumes and includes the EchoStar deal as well as the Cursor deal, but it would not include the performance units that would hit for Elon Musk when there is a sizable presence on Mars, for example, and the details of that fixed price.
Never gonna happen, dude. Never gonna happen. A sizable. No, it's not gonna happen on Mars. Are you kidding me? No, it is. That is, like I said before, centuries, if not millennia away. Like, that is not going to happen.
Does confirm.
Can you imagine a supply line to Mars? Like, people don't ever think about that. Like, it's not like you can just get there and be like self-sufficient, right? Like you can't, like, you would have to make it a way to create, to sustain life first, like through just sending like unmanned things over there. Once you have created some way of producing food and water on Mars, like self-sufficiently, then maybe you could get people over there to try to keep building that out. But you have to do that first. And the supply line cost of just getting shit to Mars is like an insane amount of money. Like, I just don't think, I don't know, man.
A Reuters report from last night. The fixed price kind of comes from a very broad and wide-ranging testing the waters process. So the bankers and the company have already gotten a lot of feedback, according to my sources, and so they felt comfortable at this level, didn't need a typical range. I also asked about anchor investors, because you see those typically with these big deals where you have long-onlys on the cover that comprise a certain proportion of the offering, which increases the scarcity even more. I'm told that won't be the case here. They have some long-onlys that they've been talking with, and there's implicit demand, but there's not going to be actual anchor investors on the cover when we see that amended filing, most likely tonight.
All right, so Leslie, what thought have they given to the retail market problem? Do they understand that whatever price they're picking could be radically different, and entirely possible that there'll be buyers with market orders that might come up to $400, $500? What do they have on the other side to make it so that they're not?
I was thinking it would be the opposite. I was thinking that the price would go down pretty significantly afterwards, but I don't know, man. Maybe they're the experts here. I'm just some silly YouTuber.
Not batched a la 1999, and the price opens at at 260.
Yeah.
What are they thinking about?
I asked that very question because it's so important here.
Right. What did they say?
They're looking to allocate 30% to retail, and they did admit this is a big wild card here, because you can come out with a fixed price, you go through the marketing process, you get that feedback, but not until they kind of set those terms and start the roadshow will they get that feedback.
But is there something they can do where there's a quick release? If they see that it looks like that the public's paying market orders, they batch them together, and it's 400, is there any way that they can have something on the other side, not to be like 1999?
Well, they have stuff to protect from the downside. I don't know if they have anything to protect from the upside.
Do they not know what happened?
This seems like he's trying to pump the stock, man. He's trying to be a part of the rug pull. That's what it feels like to me. Is he an anchor investor? Like, I don't know.
But I do think that the retail component, the fact that it is 30%, is unique here. Usually it's much smaller, and retail becomes that marginal buyer on day one.
For them,
so
maybe they'll flip it.
Well, that's the question: is do they flip it?
I just don't want people to get hurt. I hope they understand that in 1999, orders were batched. Bad guys took the other side. They were all investigated. A lot of them were drummed out of the business because people realized they opened it really high, and then the brokers walked it all the way down, made a fortune against retail. Do they know that?
But is this the size of this deal is so much larger than anything that you're talking about? Well, does that matter?
No.
You don't think so?
No, because this is the biggest deal of all time.
No, I know, but my point is 30% to retail of
Is this Jim Cramer? He's something else, man.
$75 billion raise is not an insignificant sum. The things you're talking about from 99 were tiny.
No, I'm talking about people who have never even opened an account, who don't know the difference between a limit order and a market order, who come in and don't realize there's no one on the other side of the trade because no one has stock, and the broker has to hope that the retail guy flips, which is the opposite of what they want. I don't think they've thought this through.
I guess
don't know if they're
the point David's making is that the retail base is.
I think that, dude, I think that he's misunderstanding why they're doing this fixed price, because okay, look, I am no expert when it comes to stock stuff, okay, but I would guess that they're doing this to artificially inflate the price at the beginning, I think, so that some people might be able to make out like bandits right at the beginning, and then it'll get back down to what its like true market value is. I don't know for sure. Maybe SpaceX has more stuff as a subsidiary of it that like can be profitable. There's SpaceX AI. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge like AI nerd or anything, so I don't know if that's any good. Pioneer Aerospace, a parachute manufacturer. Starlink. Yeah, Starlink is the only one I see as like the actual profitable portion of the company.
Much more mature and larger now, right? It's not like you get a flood of inexperienced trading coming in.
I think you will. I don't think that retail base covers nearly. This is a man who is the most revered businessman of our time, and a lot of people want a piece of it. And not the people.
It shows how much of a fucking idiot our country is, like, and the people who buy this shit, man. The difference now between like stock investors of today versus like investors of like, you know, 100 years ago or whatever, it's insane. Everybody is just like living on the hopes and whims of this. And maybe to some extent it was always like this, but I feel like we've really gotten to the point where the stock market is just straight up hopium of like the most unintelligent people are just hoping. The most unintelligent, like stupid people are out there just hoping that like that everything Elon Musk touches is going to turn to gold. And it's going to work, unfortunately, until it doesn't. It'll work until it doesn't. When it doesn't work, we'll see what happens then. But it, like, all of this like AI spending, like the overvaluations of AI companies and all that sort of shit, like it's going to keep working until it doesn't, and we'll see what happens when it doesn't work anymore.
Not just the people who are on the deal. I mean, they got to think about who they're really. This is a real problem on the other side when this thing opens. We don't want this thing to double.
My understanding is that, and this is, you know, bits and pieces here and there, but to comprise that 30%, it's not going to be, you know, largely from the Robin Hoods of the world and the SoFi. They will represent a portion of it, but they're looking at, you know, Chase Private Bank and Merrill Lynch, and they're looking at retail abroad in order to do so. It's a little bit different than.
But that's a small universe versus everyone, and so many people want to buy on the deal, and there's nothing for them other than a market order and a $400 price that's reached between 1 and 2 p.m.
Leslie, thanks.
We'll see.
Okay, well, there you go, people. That's SpaceX. We'll see what happens with it. My guess, and you know, I could be wrong, is that it's going to initially, this hasn't already happened, right? I don't want to make a prediction and it's already happened. SpaceX IPO date. Friday, June 12th. So it's a week away. Okay, well, my guess is that it's overvalued, I think. But I think that even if it is overvalued, there's a possibility that because it's Elon Musk and because it's a tech stock, that it doesn't have to be based on any sort of actual fundamentals of like future profitability. I think that there's still a possibility that like people will continue buying the stocks even higher than what it starts at. But I kind of think that it should probably drop like a rock to a more reasonable price, like maybe like 1 trillion or something after it, like, which even that might be a little bit high. I'm gonna be honest, but okay.